Hello Pisces, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone, so do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Pisces, let's jump on in. I'm pulling all the cards in real time this round. We'll see how it goes. Let's start here by looking at, still dog hair all over this table. Let's start by looking at your recent past. What has Pisces been dealing with? What has Pisces been dealing with? The answers you need are coming. You have stepped out of your comfort zone and work through your fears here on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so this is definitely this energy of feeling a little bit lost, not really knowing what to do, how things are going to turn out. And I feel like you've really been pushed out of your comfort zone here. And I think that it's brought up a lot of fear. I mean, I think that these cards can probably be taken pretty literally. I feel like this has been a period just with this kind of work through your fears card, and like combined with the step out of your comfort zone card. I really gather that is like a transformation in your life in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's a personal transformation. Maybe it's a transformation in your career, in your relationships, in your personal life, whatever the case might be. But I feel like this is a very divinely guided experience. And I think that that's why, like with the answers you need are coming card, like seeing that as like, you will see why this is happening, or you will understand what the right move is, like at the right time, like you have the support that you need, even if you're struggling to feel as if you do right now. Or I know this is recent past, but I feel like this is kind of just what you've been dealing with and then how it's affecting your current energy. So I feel like you are still kind of maybe in this energy. But let's see. What does Pisces need to know about their current energy? Didn't turn all the way around. I like when the cards turn all the way around or hit the table. Conclusions are within reach. So that's really interesting. The answers you need are coming. Conclusions are within reach. It's like there's this future element to this, but then you have adjustments are required. And then on the bottom it says prosperity lies, or no, sorry. The other one of these cards is prosperity lies ahead. This one is your dreams need a practical plan. I got ahead of myself there with the imagery. But yeah, I feel like this is very much, because this adjustments are required, this is very much like divine redirection. And it's almost like you're in the middle of a redirection. And boy, redirections are so hard, because sometimes it comes with feeling as if things around you are falling apart. It almost kind of feels as if things are, maybe can feel like they're worse than they've ever been, or things are getting worse, or, relationships end, or jobs are ending, or whatever the case is. When in reality, I do feel like this is taking you to, like more aligned places, aligned relationships. But I feel like you're currently in the middle of a transformation, of a redirection, which is why I feel like you're feeling really lost. I mean, when you're out of your comfort zone and you're in the unknown, like that is so difficult for our egos to handle. Our ego very much likes control. It likes predictability, and sometimes to the extent where it will prefer to stay in relationships or careers or spaces that don't really serve us or make us happy because they're predictable. We can almost find this sense of safety in knowing how things are going to work out, even if they're not making us happy. And sometimes the universe will shake things up for us, not to take away things from our life, but to allow us the opportunity to expand our life in ways that maybe we've been afraid of, which is why I feel like you had that work through your fears card, is there might have been some fear holding you back or keeping you in spaces that didn't fully align with your potential, like with the love you truly deserve or the abundance you truly deserve or success or whatever the case is. And I feel like this is redirection to those spaces. So this adjustment period, this transformation that you're going through, it feels like it's very necessary for you to step into like what is of your highest good, which is ultimately going to be what brings you the most fulfillment in the end. What does Pisces need to know moving forward? But nothing about this process is easy. I certainly know from experience what it can feel like when it kind of feels like things around you are falling apart. Which I'm not necessarily saying is exactly the case, but I feel like that might have something to do with it. All right, what does Pisces need to know moving forward? Be bold and make the first move. Then you have don't let pride get in your way and have faith in your dreams. This is very much about like having the courage to be like your most authentic, vulnerable self and really putting yourself out there and opening up to better almost. Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I might be speaking to a collective that maybe has been playing it small or, holding themselves back in some ways. Maybe some of you are aware of it. Maybe some of you aren't even really realizing it because you're unaware of your true potential or unaware of how divinely guided and loved and supported you truly are. And I almost feel like this feels like an awakening to like a next level of your life. And I think that it's going to require you to really be willing to like go for it, like really dive into this process. Because, when we're going through these transformative periods and when it feels like, when everything is overwhelming and it feels like everything's changing and we have no control, we kind of have one of two options. We can turn away and we can hide from it. We can, distract it away until it becomes, until it affects us mentally, emotionally, or we can face it. We can let ourselves crack open. We can face everything that comes with that period, and we can allow it to show us the purpose in it, because I am a firm believer that everything does happen for a reason, even in those moments where it's so hard to understand what that reason might be. But again, that's why I feel like you have the answers you need are coming card, is it feels like it's like this will all make sense, or you will get to a better place because of this in the end, even if right now you're like, there's no way. But let's see. Let's start with this past energy. You have the answers you need are coming. This is for Pisces, recent, past. Let's get a little bit of clarity on this overall energy before we dive into tarot. I mean, this is a tarot deck, but the story of it. Answers you need are coming. Ace of Cups in reverse. This is very much this energy of, okay, Five of Pentacles, Three of Wands. This is very much this energy of not being totally honest with yourself. Now, sometimes we do that to protect ourselves. We'll talk ourselves into staying in a relationship or in a job or on a path. It's almost like we'll justify our unhappiness for the sake of not facing our fear. And sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. But I feel like whatever happened in this past energy, it was meant to shake you awake in some way, like shake you into making a change. Because if there's anything that I've learned, it's that if nothing ever changes, nothing ever changes, right? So if we're unhappy in our life, in our circumstances, we can't just wait for things to change. We can't wait for things to happen for us. We have to be willing to step into, and that's what I feel like Be Bold and Make the First Move is about, is we have to be willing to step into making changes oftentimes within ourselves first, to experience them outside of ourselves. So I feel like this was very much meant to kind of like shake you into making some sort of change in your life, walking away from something, starting something. I'm not really sure, and I feel like it could vary depending on how the situation applies to your life. But I feel like if there was a loss associated with this change, that is only making space. And sometimes it's hard to believe that loss, that you'll ever heal from it, or that things will ever be okay, or that you'll ever be happy again. But sometimes when we're willing to trust the process, we're really willing to kind of surrender it over to something bigger than us, we lean into the transformation that is being presented to us. And I think that that's kind of what this reading is really about, because with this adjustments are required card, it's almost as if there are changes that need to happen here for you to step into a life that you've always wanted, but maybe never thought was possible, or maybe you've been waiting for it, but there are these changes that need to be made so you can have it. It's almost as if the universe is actually trying to push you closer to the things that you desire. It's just that there are some adjustments that are having to happen in order for you to get there. And for you, it might just feel like loss and devastation and destruction. And oftentimes, that's where our greatest transformations stem from, is kind of when we're in that darkness, when we're facing the unknown, when there is so much unpredictable, when there is so much that is unpredictable. All right, what does Pisces need to know about their current energy? Clarifying this adjustments are required. Overall energy. This is like a major life transformation. I was like, I couldn't figure out if that Ten of Swords was upright or in reverse. I want to get a little bit more on this. Ace of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. Ace of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles. Pisces, you're working through a lot here. You know, the Ten of Swords in reverse is kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel kind of energy. And sometimes, and then you kind of see that with the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles too. Why do I keep, okay, is that supposed to be, no, it's upright. I keep dropping this Ace of Pentacles in my lap. There's the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. You are slowly through this period, because I feel like there could be a lot of healing being done, or a lot of, you know, like changes that you're having to make. And I feel like slowly you are actually stepping into newer, more aligned opportunities. This Ace of Pentacles and this Knight of Pentacles. I just feel like you're having to work through a lot of maybe painful endings, to get there. So I feel like this is definitely one of those, you're going to see that this is happening for a reason if you're willing to surrender to the process kind of things. You know, I think back to the hardest time of my life. It literally felt like and ultimately my entire life did fall apart. And I lost friends, I lost my career, I essentially lost everything. And at that time, I was on a spiritual journey, and it was really hard for me to understand why this was happening for me. It was like I could not make sense of what I was going through, and it took me to some pretty dark places, I'm not gonna lie. But slowly, I got myself out of that place, and I rebuilt my life, and where I'm at now is so much better than the life that I felt I had lost, or the life that fell apart. And, you know, looking back, I'm like, oh wow, that did actually all happen for a reason, and I learned so much, and I grew so much because of it, and I wouldn't have this life that I do have now if I didn't go through those things. And however, if at the time you would have told me, and I did get told a lot, that like, oh, this is happening for a reason, like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, like things are going to be okay. And I was like, absolutely not, I don't believe you, this sucks, it's never going to get better. Like I know what it's like to be in those places and to feel like it's hopeless, but I feel like this is Spirit's way of trying to tell you, the universe's way of trying to tell you that there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and that if you're willing to surrender to this process, I think that on the other side of it, you're going to see a lot of really cool opportunities for you to, again, expand. You know, whether it's new beginnings or, like improving current situations, I'm not sure, but I feel like it's good. It doesn't feel good, I don't think, but it is good in the end. What does Pisces need to know moving forward? You have to be bold and make the first move. The Ten of Swords in reverse can also be can mean a lot about acceptance, like kind of needing to accept where things are at and surrender to that. Oh. Be able to make the first move. You have Knight of Wands, you have the Three of Cups. So this right here is already like kind of that, it's the same as that be bold to make the first move energy. It's very much about taking risks, putting yourself out there. And then you have this Nine of Pentacles. I mean, this is wish fulfillment. This Hierophant is like deeper wisdom, deeper understanding, almost like this energy of awakening. And this Three of Cups is this energy of finding where you belong, like finding your people, finding the spaces that are sustainable for you in this life. And it's almost as if there are spaces that have been waiting for you, but you haven't been able to find them because you maybe have been stuck in situations that don't really align with your worth or what you deserve. So whatever you're going for, because there's the Ten of Cups. I mean, this is, long-term fulfillment, whether it's in life and love, like whatever the case is. And I feel like this is, these are major changes that I feel are taking you to where you belong. It's like where you belong. It's the best way, like finding your soul tribe. Like this whole transformation is taking you to where you've wanted to be all along. So I think that it will make a lot of sense when you get to the other side of this. But transformations are tough. I mean, they're not that's why not everyone chooses the route of transformation. A lot of people will choose to kind of hide from the hard stuff or numb themselves or get stuck in anger or in their pain and don't ever actually process it. And it's because it's hard to face this stuff. It's hard to believe that there is a way through it. But the only way through it is through it. Think of it as like a tunnel. It's like here's where you were at and here's where you want to be. It's like the only way to get from here to here is like through this tunnel. And that tunnel is healing, it's growth, it's transformation. And when you're in the tunnel, it's dark and it's scary and you're hearing a lot of noises and you're not really so sure what's going on. And you're like, but this tunnel has to end, right? And the tunnel doesn't, but you might not be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel, but there is one. It's like there is this way, like you will make it through it, but the only way through it is through it. So I think that that's where you're at right now. Okay, let's get an overall theme of this reading for Pisces. Overall theme of this reading for Pisces, please. What does Pisces need to know in order to move forward in alignment with their higher self? Contemplation, shift your energy. Contemplation, shift your energy. And then you have new experiences and possibilities. So again, shift, adjustment, transformation. This contemplation card is interesting. I feel like right now is a period of contemplation, like of reflection and just kind of processing what's going on. Now, at the same time, you could also be needing to make some sort of a decision. And this could be this energy of like, you don't need to make it, like you will make a decision when the time is right. And maybe that's what this like be bold, in your future is about. But then this new experiences and possibilities card is like, this is where you're headed. So the way that I kind of see it is like, this is, shifting your energy is where you're kind of at. You're in this contemplation energy, and you're heading towards these new experiences and possibilities. And like these cards, like I've always known that I love the imagery on these cards, but like just the beauty of it is really standing out to me. And I feel like that's about like understanding the beauty of the journey. And the journey is tough and it sucks. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of times where like life is just freaking hard and it can feel as if you're like, what the hell is the point of any of this? But if you're willing to believe in the beauty of the journey, like it can be a really amazing process overall when you get to the other side and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm here and I'm living this life because I made it through all of that, and because I've learned and I've grown in ways I never thought I would. And again, like I talk about it so much on this channel, but it really is about the journey, not the destination. But let's go back here, Pisces, looking at this past energy. You have the answers you need are coming with the Three of Wands. So this is kind of diving a little bit deeper into the story. What has Pisces been dealing with? In their past energy, what has Pisces been dealing with? Separation. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, there's that Ten of Swords. The Sun. It's like you thought you were headed toward the sun. It's like you saw, I feel like, oh, interesting. Okay. Gosh. All right, Two of Swords. There's the Fool. So this is the redirection to a new beginning that I feel like you're currently going through. Here's what's interesting is I feel like you thought you were headed towards the sun, and then boom, Ten of Swords. Boom. And I feel like this maybe came out of nowhere, because I feel like you thought maybe you were like, oh, this is it, or like, I know I'm on the right path, or I know this is going to work out like this way, and then it just didn't. And I feel like that's what you're having a hard time coping with, is that things didn't go the way that you expected. And trust me, I get that. I think that that's one of the hardest things about the human journey, is things rarely ever go the way that we expect, but there's always a purpose in how things play out, as long as we're willing to see it that way. And I think this Two of Cups in reverse is very much, it's like the separation from what could have been, in a way. And I feel like that's where maybe you weren't worrying about, well, my happiness is behind me, or like I've lost my ability to be happy or loved or abundant or successful. And I think it's important for you to know that you haven't. It kind of feels, and I don't like using the word right versus wrong. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to elaborate on it. It feels like the outcome you desire is possible. You were just on the wrong path to get there. Now, the right path for you at the time, because sometimes we have to take wrong turns or be on paths that aren't necessarily aligned for us to make adjustments or learn what we need to learn. So it's not like you were doing the wrong thing. I don't want you to take it that way. But I do feel like it was like, it's like you were wanting to get to, point B, but you were trying to like go away where it just wasn't possible to get there. And so this is, because that's what this Two of Swords is about. It's very much redirection to like the right path to get you to where you were trying to go, to this fulfillment, to this happiness. Like this is still what you can have. I just think that where things are at right now, this feels very out of reach, especially saying like what you need are coming and the answers you need are coming. And it said like, it's just talking a lot about the future. Like I feel like it feels maybe like it's so far off and such like not a possibility for you right now. And that's just because of where you're at right now. I think one of the things that I certainly had a difficult time with on my journey, like especially through my difficult period, was understanding that everything is temporary. Every period of our life, whether good or bad, is temporary. That's why it's so important to embrace the good times and, allow ourselves to kind of surrender through the not so good, because that's just kind of life. It's about ups and downs and navigating it as it comes. And so when things are bad, it sometimes can feel like they're going to be bad forever, but it won't be bad forever. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that as you continue to surrender to this process, like you're going to get to the other side and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's so much more beautiful and amazing and abundant than I even thought it was going to be. All right, so what does Pisces need to know about their current energy? Adjustments are required here, which I feel like the adjustments will come as you move through this period and through this process. Like I think that if you're willing to face this in the way that I feel you're needing to. Yeah, there's the Emperor, there's the Eight of Cups, and there is the World in reverse. Okay, you're breaking out of a pretty intense cycle here, but it is all about focusing on what you can control. This is very much, the Emperor is this energy of stepping into kind of like the taking back your life, like taking back control of your life, but not in the sense of controlling other people or controlling what happens to you, but stepping into your power and saying, I am fully supported by the universe, if I knew I was fully supported by the universe, where would I go? What would I do? What kind of experiences would I have? What am I looking to feel? And then being willing to kind of surrender to the steps that you need to take to get there. Because I feel like you've been stuck in this cycle of not being happy and not being fulfilled and not being where you want to be. And it's almost like maybe you got maybe a little complacent, or maybe you were like, well, this might be as good as it gets, so I need to take what I can get, kind of thing. I get it. I have absolutely been there, but the universe will never allow us to settle where we are not meant to settle. In fact, if we try to settle where we're not meant to settle, the universe will always shake things up to get us to move. And I feel like that might have been what has happened here, Pisces. And it's not a bad thing, but it is really scary. It can feel really scary. So focusing on what you can control and trying to show up for you right now is going to be very important. Making sure that you are taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, allowing yourself space and grace to process through everything that you're going through is going to be important, because this is a pretty major cycle that you're closing out. And a lot of people would choose to run from this, would choose to hide from this, would choose to not face this at all. So if you are willing to say, you know what, I'm going to face it, I'm going to allow this transformation to take place, I'm going to allow myself to crack open, I'm going to feel what I need to feel, I'm going to move through it, knowing that I'm supported, and then I know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If you can try to take on that perspective, I think that it's going to take you to places that are even better than I think you can currently comprehend right now. Again, you're just in the middle of that tunnel, but it's like you have this option to either just like sit down in the tunnel or like go back to where you were before. But I don't think you want either of those things, right? You want to get to the other side. So don't sit down, keep putting maybe you need to sit down and rest, that's fine, but keep putting one foot in front of the other through this. And I think you will be surprised at how things turn out. Okay, what does Pisces need to know moving forward? Be bold to make the first move with the Knight of Wands. But, the Justice is all about accountability and, focusing on what you can control and focusing on where your power lies, which the only thing you have control over is you and your response to what is happening around you. And the cool thing is that is what creates your reality. So if you're focusing on trying to show up better for yourself, you're going to create a better reality for yourself. So there might be some ways that you're needing to change the way that you're showing up right now, but it's not about not doing enough. It's about making sure that you are taking care of you. All right, what does Pisces need to know moving forward? Be bold to make the first move. That Hierophant, again, this is very much about an awakening. And I feel like it's an awakening. Oh, okay. 4 of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, the Devil. So this Devil energy, I feel like, is what you're having to work through a lot, and is like your biggest blockage to this awakening. Now, Devil energy is like attachment to how we think things should be, which I feel like is a lot of why you're kind of needing to work through where you're at, is like getting to this point of acceptance. So you can't make it through the tunnel if you never accept that you're in the tunnel, right? You're never going to make it out if you're not willing to work to move through it. So I feel like if you're willing to kind of accept how things have played out and, looking at it from this perspective of like, maybe this is happening for me and maybe there is a good on the other side of this. And it's hard. It's so hard. But your perspective is going to be everything now and as you move forward. Because with this be bold to make the first move and with this Knight of Wands, this is the universe really asking you to really, and I said, put yourself out there, or take this leap of faith. And I feel like this is putting a leap of faith that things can get, putting your faith in the possibility that things can get better than you even imagine that they can, but kind of surrendering to the divine guidance of okay, so what do I need to do to get there? What do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do to make this happen? And I feel like as you're willing to shift that perspective, you have this new experiences and possibilities. You had that Ace of Pentacles, that light at the end of the tunnel, like the Six of Swords. 6 of Pentacles. This is talking about receiving and reciprocity and being where you need to be in order to receive the things that you've always wanted. So I think that this process is about allowing the process to happen. And I think that probably isn't what you want to hear, Pisces. You probably want to hear everything's going to be perfect and it's all going to work out exactly as you want by this time. But that's just not how life goes. And I think that's why when we're in the middle of that tunnel, the best thing that we can do is have faith, is trust that we're good, that we're supported, that you're guided, and that as you move through this, your perspective is changing, your relationship with yourself is changing, and all of that is going to lead to changes in your outer world as well. So This is very much a trust the process kind of reading, and I think that this is about stepping into brand new. It's like leveling up almost, if you think of it that way. It's like stepping into like brand new energies and brand new experiences that maybe you didn't even know existed, but it's almost like you had to move through. Like one of the things that kind of comes through in this reading that could potentially be what you're going through, Pisces, is what's called the dark night of the soul. It's something that a lot of people in a spiritual journey go through at some point, and it's very much about this inner transformation that you are having to face a lot of darkness and face, things that are uncomfortable and really honestly kind of scary, but on the other side of it is so much beauty and so much light and so much love. So maybe that's something that resonates with you. If it is, I encourage you to do some research on it. It can certainly help to understand where you're at and what you're going through, so you can surrender to it a little bit more. But we're going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to dive deeper into these messages, looking at what you can do right now to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So that's looking more at kind of like the tangible advice around this, as well as pulling an advice card from your spiritual team at the very end. Thank you so much, Pisces, as always, for your support of my channel. I am sorry to anyone who is going through anything difficult right now, but please know it does get better. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on the universe. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I believe in you. Thank you again, and I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve on this journey moving forward. All right, bye, Pisces.